must die, chase the cat.
So, yeah.
Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents. With me this rainy evening is Mark Paturzo from Help Willy's Friends. Mark, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
We've been kind of working on this for a while. Yeah, and then this was a crazy week because our schedules kind of conflicted, so we had very little communication. So I'm very impressed you found us.
Yes, without a problem.
Without a problem, without a phone call. I always leave that phone on to the last minute. I mean, I literally had a guest come in after I came on the air once, and it happens, you know. People's lives are, you know, hectic, and they get here or they don't. But you made it, and I'm really glad. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, Help Willy's Friends.
Yes.
You know, it's a very cool organization.
Thank you.
And tell us about Help Willy's Friends and how it got started.
It actually got started because of Willy.
Okay. And who is Willy?
Willy is our dog. He's been around for about 10 years now.
Okay.
And we actually rescued him back in '03. He was 3 or 4 months old.
Wow,
And
little baby.
yeah, he was a little pup, about 17 pounds, just a little guy, and he kind of found us. And, we had a friend who was volunteering at a rescue in New York, and Willy was found basically wandering the streets.
Wow, at such a young age.
Yeah, and so they picked him up and they brought him to a high-kill shelter down south, and one of the rescues in New York found him and thought that he would be adoptable, and they brought him up along with a truckload of other dogs. And we had a friend who was volunteering at the time there, and she fell in love with him. And she thought, oh, she wanted him. But unfortunately, she had a dog at home, and she knew it wouldn't work. So she decided that, you know, well, he'd be a good fit for us. And
so that's how that went.
we actually lost our dog a few months earlier. So my wife and I were setting out to find one, so another pet at some point. We weren't quite ready. But she sent a picture of Willy to us, and he was the cutest dog. And that was, I'll never forget, it was a Wednesday. And by Saturday, he was being brought from New York. She brought him from New York up to us 3 days later, and the rest is history.
Love at first sight.
Oh, absolutely.
Zach, can we get a look at Willy? We did. There's your logo.
There's our logo.
And that's Willy right there in the middle?
That's Willy. That was the day we got him.
Really?
That was the picture of the day we got him.
He looks very, very young there.
He looks very young and very sad, and that's him today.
And there he is. He's a handsome old guy.
He's quite happy.
Yeah, well, he would have to be. And we've got one more picture. That's the favorite right there.
The little man right there.
He is so handsome. So he's been with you for a while.
Yes.
And all right, so how about Help Willy's Friends? How did that happen?
Well, at the time, my wife and I really didn't know much about rescue. So we started looking into it, and it was maybe 6 years ago. We decided to have a food drive. It was right around the holidays. So we set out, and we got some boxes. We went to different places and said, hey, can we put this box here for a few weeks? We want to have a food drive. And everyone was very agreeable. So at the end of 2 weeks, we collected about 1,500 pounds of food.
Wow.
And I said to my wife, you know, we have something here. I mean,
Absolutely.
They have to be fed constantly, not just during the holidays, because most of the time people get very, very generous during the holidays, whether it's human food or pet food. So I said, why don't we start something here and maybe collect food on an ongoing basis? So she thought it was a good idea. So we set out and we went to different places, and we started bringing bins to different stores and places, and we asked if you know, we can keep it there. So now we collect food at a variety of different places, and what we do is we take the food and supplies that we collect, and we donate it back out to the shelters and rescues.
Wow, that's really cool. You know, there should be more things like that going on, because that gets everybody involved.
Yeah.
you know, and if these people who, you know, I can't go to the shelter and I don't have time and oh, boo-hoo, it breaks my heart because I can't see the dogs if I go, you take care of that.
I actually hear that a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
So I look.
Suck it up.
We're the liaisons between, you know, the people that want to do something, and then the shelters and rescues.
Sure.
So we're the middleman, if you will.
Yeah, and of course the shelters always need stuff.
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Absolutely.
they go through a massive amount of animals that all need care and all need supplies, and so, you know, if there's a source other than their own budget, it's a beautiful thing, because clearly they're not making it on their own. The municipalities especially are hard pressed even just to care for the dogs. I mean, that's why they don't include medical treatment and all kinds of things that, you know, would be basic to an animal's care.
And they're on a limited budget.
Yeah.
So they're provided some food and some medical care.
Yeah, and sometimes not enough for the influx of animals. You know, some of the higher volume shelters, so to speak,
right.
Just really struggle because they don't, you can't plan.
Right.
You know, you really, I mean, you can't plan how many dogs you're going to pick up off the street, how many dogs you're going to get surrendered, and, you know, even, I mean, you help the private shelters as well, I think, right?
We do. We've actually helped.
And they struggle as well. I mean, seriously, it's a great thing that, you know, you do that.
Thank you.
And you've got some other programs and stuff too, other than the food that you are involved with.
We do. About 2 years ago, we started a spay and neuter program, and we collect for that. And what we do is we provide free spay and neuter certificates to any shelter or a municipality.
And that's pretty awesome too, because spaying and neutering is at the heart of the problem that the shelter animals and the shelters and the pet overpopulation. I mean, if everybody would just step up to the plate and get that done, there'd be a lot less problems. So people spay and neuter.
That's the big problem.
I can't, you know, I was just talking to a gentleman at work the other night who was saying how there was a kitten, or a cat rather, and, you know, the family friended it, and they let her in, and like 2 seconds after they let her in, she popped the litter. Well then, wasn't that special? But, you know, I'm like, okay, so like, I guess you're keeping her, so you're gonna get her spayed now, right? It's like, well, you know, well, no. I preached to this guy. It was like, it was awful. Well, we think she's pregnant again. I'm like, no. Spay her. Stop it, that nonsense, right?
Absolutely.
So what else does Help Willie's Friends do besides listen to me rant and rave?
Well,
I told you I rant and rave really well, didn't I?
We got involved with the Meals on Wheels program.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, that's special
That's
to me
very
as well.
special, because, like, honestly, I make no secret, like, I don't like people, but I have a soft spot for the elderly.
We do
really
as well.
do.
We do. And when we found out that some of the people couldn't afford to actually feed their own animals, and what they were doing was that they were taking some of their food and sharing
their
it.
meals, and that's a subject I've covered on the show as well. You know, who eats well with that? They get little meals, and they're sharing them for the sake of feeding their animals with their animals. And so who's eating well? Nobody.
So Willie and I, we make a trip. We go to the Meals on Wheels, and in the the Middlesex County, and we deliver cat and dog food. And what they do is they disperse that food when they bring the human food out.
Yep.
And so everyone's getting the proper nutrition.
That's a beautiful thing.
And it makes us very, very happy.
I like this guy for a reason. Well, there's lots of reasons, but see, to me, that's just so important. Is taking care of everybody who needs to be taken care of. So, what other kind of things does Help Willie's Friends get involved with? We
have an emergency medical fund, and what we do is we help the shelters and rescues with emergency services. The big crises.
Right. And that's cool.
And that's for, any homeless animal that is at a rescue or a shelter.
An actual shelter animal.
Right.
That's cool.
So we do that.
And you've got something really neat coming up.
We do.
May 19th. He's smiling now. I am going to hold up. You brought this wonderful poster, and this is the Help Willy's Friends 5th Annual Pet Fair.
Yes.
And I love this logo. I always have. Tell us about how the fair came about and what happens at the fair.
The fair came about obviously 5 years ago, and we thought it would be a good idea to have some sort of adoption day in town. And we actually, it started out somewhat small with maybe 20, 25 different shelters and rescues there. And we held it at the local veterinarian's office. And after that first year, we outgrew it. So we had to move it. And it's been at the school since its first year.
And this is in what town?
This is in Durham.
Okay.
At the Coggins Regional High School.
Uh-huh.
And it's from 11 to 4 on May 19th, next Sunday.
Okay, yep, so this is perfect timing to finally get you on here. So tell us about the fair.
The fair, this year we're going to have over 60 shelters and rescues. And we have...
That's a lot.
Yeah.
People don't realize how many there are out there.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's just a fraction of what's really out there.
Oh,
and they're coming from all over.
Yeah, I was just going to say, where do these shelters, are they all just Connecticut, or are they from all over?
They're from, mainly from Connecticut, and we have some coming from Mass, some coming from Rhode Island. We have one from New Hampshire, so they make their way down. And we have over 100 adoptable pets coming.
Wow.
And then
That's a big day.
Yeah. And it's not just cat and dog rescues. We have 2 parrot rescues.
Really?
We do. We have a wildlife rescue,
Cool.
a bunny rescue, a horse rescue.
Wow. You gotta hook me up with the wildlife rescue, because I want to do a show about wildlife rescue.
And we have a farm animal rescue coming.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's very diverse. I think that's going to be so. I got to try to make it this year. I'm a bad girl. I kind of stick my head in the sand sometimes. I told you I wrote about the fair a couple years ago, I think, in my column. I was just kind of like looking for stuff to write about. And I was like, wow, this looks really awesome. And then when we finally kind of met over the phone, I was like, wow, that's really cool, because now I get to meet this guy.
You got to come down and meet Willy.
Yeah, I do. I want to meet Willy. So what else is going on at the fair?
The highlight of the fair is the pet parade.
Okay.
And Willy leads all the homeless animals through the pet parade.
Oh, that's got to be priceless.
So right now there are 82 dogs in the parade.
Wow.
So we have a local MC. She announces each and every member.
Okay.
And each person will hold a sign with the animal's name, where they're from, and then the MC will take and just give a little description as to the dog's characteristics.
Okay. So it's
the most suitable
literally
home.
that much time. It's not just like an en masse kind of like march through the grounds.
Oh no, it takes well over an hour to announce everyone.
That's cool. What time does that start? Because that's got to be neat.
That starts at 12:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. So there's 82, and Willy leads them.
And Willy leads them.
That's neat. Wow. I never thought that takes a lot of planning, doesn't it?
It does. And we have this awesome volunteer. She works very, very hard to organize all the rescues and shelters there, and she plans and does the pet, the parade and all the proper paperwork that's involved for each animal.
Oh yeah, because you have to have your rabies shots, and you've got to have everything in order, and wow, that's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, and she does a wonderful job.
Want to give her a shout out?
Thank you, Laura.
Hey, why not, right? Laura,
without
you
her,
a fine thing.
Without her, we couldn't do this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So what else is going on at the fair?
We have local artisans and vendors on the other side of the street. We'll have live music.
Okay.
And we'll have, let's see, what else do we have? Free face painting for the kids, free nail clipping.
Oh,
for the doggies.
Not for the kids.
Free pet photos.
Okay.
So it should be a fun time.
So this is definitely an event you can bring your own pet to.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, if you have a well-behaved, up to date on shots, dog that's on a leash, everyone's invited.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
there's probably, it's hard to keep track, but I bet you last year there was 1,000 dogs there.
Wow.
And they were all well-behaved.
Yeah, that's key. That really is, because I think everybody's been to that event where there's always like that one dog, and the poor person knows it's my dog, it's that one dog, and it's just not worth even being there, and it's sad because, you know, it's just too stimulating, and they end up leaving and hanging their head in shame. That would probably be me with like Duke, because he's just Duke, but anyway. So, this is on May 19th.
May 19th.
And, wow, you've got like a whole lot going on that day.
There is. There's a lot going on. It's really a nice afternoon. And, you know, you can come down and bring the whole family, including the pets, and spend the whole afternoon there.
Yeah, and so you said that's between 11 and 4.
11 to 4, yes.
That's really neat. I have to try to make it.
Rain or shine.
I was just gonna, that's one of the things I was just like filing away to ask if there was like a rain date.
Or you have to make it now.
Yeah, I do, don't I?
You do now.
No excuses. So, what else do you guys do? I know there's more. We've talked so much, so infrequently, but we've talked so much about all the stuff. So you've got your food pantry, you've got your Meals on Wheels, which I say with a smile. You support the shelters. The fair is coming up. What other events do you do? I see all these pictures on your Facebook page, and you guys like always seem to be doing something.
We do. You know, our primary mission, I mean, how we got involved was, you know, collecting food and supplies and then donating it back out to the different groups. So that's what we do. And it's really nice because there are different groups now that are seeking us.
Right.
You know, they'll give us a call and say, hey, is it possible that, you know, we can be a recipient? And it's absolutely, and we've now have, you know, donated out to over 150 different, you know, rescue shelters, local pet pantries that we help as well.
And that's invaluable. That really is. I mean, that just keeps everything going.
Absolutely.
And so, like, are there like different places and events that you'll go to and set up a table and meet and greet the public and do that?
There are different places that we'll actually have a food drive, and we'll announce it on Facebook, and then we're at different events too as well. You know, places like in Durham, like the Durham Fair, we set up a booth for 4 days, and we primarily just try to get our name out.
Right, sure, because exposure is everything.
And yeah, when we try to bring, you know, awareness to different people as to the shelters and rescues and the need that they're in, and then people will say, oh, I've seen your bins at these different places.
Right,
and
oh,
now,
that's you. I get it.
And, you know, I've always wanted to do something with you, but I wasn't quite sure the group. But now we know that, you are legitimate.
Yeah, well, you know, when you put a face to, you know, an organization or a face to a name type of thing, it means a lot more.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not just like some fly-by-night page on Facebook, you know, who just is out there and has like kind of questionable agendas and et cetera and so on, because they're out there, and that's really sad. I mean, I don't ever name names, but not on the air anyway. You know, it's important to get involved with a reputable organization, which you are.
Thank you.
You definitely are, and you know, what you do is priceless, and
thank you.
I thank you for what you do. You know, I know it makes a world of difference to the animals and to the elderly, because like I'm going to keep harping on that, because like I said, I loved my grandmother so much. You know, she wasn't always old, but she got old, and it's when that happens that you start to take a step back and you're like, wow, you know, if you've never had the tolerance for like old people, you start to have it, because there's like that old person that you really love. So that my grandmother was a recipient of the Meals on Wheels. I mean, I did an article and I talked a lot about the Waterbury Meals on Wheels, Lisa Robin, Blankets and Bowls, got them all Christmas presents.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she was really cool about that. So I've written about it, and the picture I used was my grandmother with my little Kelly for my article, you know. So yeah, I'm a big supporter of that, and I just like on my little ramble, but it's just, I think that's probably one of the most wonderful things anybody can do is reach out and give back, not just to the animals, but the people and their animals, you know.
And you find out sometimes that's all they have.
Yeah.
Is their pet.
Exactly.
And the
that's
last
their
thing
family. Everybody's gone. Everybody's like moved on in their life.
And they're afraid if they can't maintain and feed it and give it the proper, you know, food and medication, they're going to lose it.
Yeah.
So.
And nobody likes to feel that way.
Right. And quite often they won't tell anyone. They'll take the food and just share it.
It's like, you know, the people who eat the cat food, you know, the old ladies with the cat food type of thing. It's like their secret that's, you know, they've got nothing else. And so you're giving them a lifeline, and that's cool.
We'd like to expand that if possible.
Yeah,
so
sure.
We'd like to see if there's, you know, other communities, part of the, you know, Meals on Wheels program that'd be, you know, willing to work with us.
Okay, well,
So
there you go. I mean, if there's anybody out there who has a connection and would like to make arrangements, Mark, let's do it now. Let's give your contact info.
Yeah. Phone number's 203-988-1718.
And one more time?
203-988-1718.
Okay, and if somebody wants to email you or contact you?
Our website is helpwillysfriends.org, and my email address is willy@helpwillysfriends.org.
Okay, and you've also got your Facebook page.
We do.
And I remember the drive we had, you had last summer to get your likes up there. So go to Facebook, like the page. All of your information is there. I did share the Help Willy's Friends Facebook page on my Pound Posse Presents page because that's what I do. I'll put your website up on my Facebook page as well so that everybody can get a little familiar with that. I think I already shared, you have the Facebook event for the fair.
Yes.
And I think I shared that on my Facebook page already, but if I didn't, I will go back and make sure that I do. Because again, that has all the information. You know, Facebook is fabulous because it's in spite of some of like the drama and the hating and the backstabbing that goes on, you're laughing because you know what I'm talking about. It's just such a fabulous way of getting stuff out there. You know, there was a time where there was like, you know, it was your website, it was your email, but now it's all on Facebook and nobody has to actually do anything actively except click on a page to find out all the information.
Right.
So there you have it.
I probably wouldn't be on it if it wasn't for Willy's Friends.
No, I know. You're kind of not a fan. I know.
Not a fan of it.
We've had kind of similar conversations, but yeah, I can't say it on the air. I'm a Facebook person. Let's put it that way.
No, but it really helps us out. I mean, it gets the word out. It's the exposure. You know, getting our events out. It's easy just to put it out there, and then people like yourself are kind enough to share it with everyone, and that's
sharing.
Yeah.
Even for the animals that are in trouble, you know, the death row dogs. You know, I'm sure if Willy had been out there, he'd have been shared if he wasn't like personally handpicked and kind of like placed in your lap, like here's your next dog.
And there's, you know, I always say there's so many Willys out there that need a chance.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if we can feed them, you know, before they get adopted, you know, so that's what that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and you're right. There are so many Willys out there. There are so many homeless animals, and they all need a chance. I was reading something again on Facebook about all the gems that are sitting in shelters just waiting to be discovered. You know, just waiting for someone to give them a chance. And what a beautiful thing it would be if that could happen for everyone before their time was up. Because unfortunately, in too many instances, their time is up before that happens. So here I go. Adopt a dog, adopt a cat, don't shop, right?
Absolutely.
I was talking to a young lady last night who was like, oh, we saw this puppy at the pet store. And I'm like, no, again, I'm banging myself in the head. Adopt. It's the way to go. Those poor animals are just, they're in limbo.
And there's so many different groups that have, if you're looking for a beagle or a shepherd,
Right.
or a particular breed, there's
Yep.
there's different rescues out there.
Yep, there's
that-
breed specific.
and you know, whether you want an elderly dog or a middle-aged dog
Yep.
or a very young dog, they have them all.
Yep, it runs the gamut, and it's you have to do the research.
Mhm.
You have to do a little looking around, but they're out there, you know, and people like you, people like me, we can help other people network into finding exactly what they're looking for. I mean, my Facebook pages are always like riddled with, you know, shares of all kinds of dogs, from puppies to the olders, and you know, it's not hard. You just maybe have to work a little harder, and it's saving a life, which is priceless. You know, these dogs don't want to be in shelters. You know, they have no concept of what they've done wrong to end up there, and they all deserve homes. They really
They do, and they all have a story.
Yeah.
And I tell people, you know, sometimes it's a little bit harder to rescue an animal because of, you know, the different the applications and maybe a home visit and all, but it's well worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know, the last thing they want is a second story. So what they
Right.
try to do is find that final home for them. So you know, it's easier to go in and buy an animal versus rescuing one.
Sure,
but
because nobody cares who you are in that case.
right.
But you just made a very good point. They don't need a second story.
Yeah.
You know, and sadly, a lot of times there's no way to know what their first story is. Sometimes it's obvious, the abused, the frightened, and all that.
Mm.
But sometimes there's just no way to know. But we're winding down, and we've probably got less than a minute to go. So, Mark, I thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure to finally get the timing right and get you on here.
Oh, thank you.
I look forward to being at the fair.
I will see you at the fair.
He's laughing. We've got my credits, so there's a special way we say goodnight on the show.
Okay.
Okay? Do like I do. We're going to say peace,
Peace.
love,
Love.
and dogs.
Dogs.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
We're just going to wave till we go blank. Yay!
I'm Greg.